This is Toby Adekule. Welcome to 60 Seconds of Purpose and Impact.
Hi, let's talk about another interesting personality in the Bible, in the same book of Judges, that God used to fulfill his purpose, even without a name or a stage. The man's name is Ehud. If you read the book of Judges chapter 3, you'll find the story where Israel had done evil again in the sight of God, and they were under the control of the king of Moab called Eglon. For 18 years they were oppressed. But when they cried out to God, God didn't raise a mighty army. He raised one man, and the man's name is Ehud. Here is an interesting thing about the story of Ehud. The Bible recorded that Ehud was left-handed. Now, that might not sound like, much things today, because there's this general impression also that those who use left hand tend to be more, smarter or brilliant. That might be a bias. But in those days, in the culture of those days, that was very unusual. Being left-handed wasn't normal. In fact, it was considered a weakness, a flaw. If you are using left hand, you probably had a flaw. But that flaw was exactly what God would use. Ehud was choosing to deliver Israel's tribute to Moab's king. It looked like a simple errand, a delivery, just like another task, like they used to do every year because they were under the control of Eglon. So every year, after each harvest, they will go and deliver some goods. And this time, it was Ehud that is supposed to carry out the assignment. But it was purpose disguised as a routine. While Ehud was on his way to deliver the goods, he strapped a dagger to his right thigh, where no one would expect it because guards only checked the left side for right-handed men. That's genius. He delivers the tribute, then tells the king he has a secret message. The king sends everyone out, and they're in a quiet room with no applause, with no spectators, with no audience. Ehud kills the enemy king and escapes. Israel is set free, all because of one man. Not a warrior, not a priest, not a prophet, but he was obedient. Here is actually what blows my mind in the story of Ehud. Ehud fulfilled purpose in a moment that looked ordinary, a daily task, a normal mission, but a quiet opportunity. And the thing others would have, dismissed, his left hand, was the very tool God used. Let me say this to you. Purpose isn't about being perfect. It is not about having it all together. And it is definitely not about fitting the mold. Sometimes your difference is the assignment. Sometimes your uniqueness is the assignment. Sometimes what others call disadvantage is God's purpose. Your story, your pain, your quirks, the very things you think disqualify you might be what God wants to highlight. He wouldn't try to be someone else. He just showed up as he was, did what he was sent to do, and purpose showed up in the process. So don't ignore your uniqueness. Don't despise the small errands, and don't wait for a big moment to believe you are useful to God. Purpose walks through daily obedience. Purpose shows up in unusual packaging. And purpose is often fulfilled by people who just say yes, even when it doesn't look like it. You may feel unseen, unqualified, unlikely. But just like Ehud, God can use you to shift the course of a generation. And He doesn't need you to be loud. Just obey. Be obedient. I hope you enjoyed this also. Thank you for listening. Bye.